He may have picked up the girl's DNA, searching her, and then transferred it to his pants during a bathroom break. But the police are certain that DNA is going to put him away.
When you got that DNA match, what went through your head?
Well, I said I was going to do a backflip off my file cabinet, but I didn't. Oh, I was just ecstatic because that was the DNA moment.
When we come back, the high-stakes Holtzclaw case comes to court.
2020 continues with what the dashcam never saw.
The trial begins in the serial sexual assault case against Oklahoma City police officer Daniel Holtzclaw.
Coming to us from Oklahoma,
with former police officer Daniel Holtzclaw.
Half the world is watching, and the other half, it would appear, trying to get a good seat in the courthouse.
Here's what's going on right now. About 100 people cramming, elbowing, and pushing their way into the courtroom.
Everybody's got to leave the floor. Go in the library.
The former officer facing 36 counts of sex crimes against 13 women, carrying a term of several life sentences. Outside the courthouse, protests.
32 counts! No, man! 32 counts! No!
Sometimes so loud, juror Dan Speaks says everyone inside the courthouse could hear them.
At one point, the judge delayed the hearing and told us to basically ignore it.
We have a problem when it comes to African Americans and a police officer.
It's important to note that the officer was a white officer.
In the wake of the recent riots in Ferguson, Missouri, and the Black Lives Matter protests, the racial overtones in the case are only heightened when the jury is selected.
Consisting of 8 men, 4 women, all of them white.
They're all white.
you started to get concerned about, here we go again. Here we go again. You had an all-white jury, and the only things black in the courtroom was the 13 black women in the judge's robe.
Hello? Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Holtzclaw tells me his theory on the phone, that the police department manufactured a case against him to satisfy the public outcry.
We want life! 36 counts! We want life!
Why do you think the police intentionally railroaded you?
If they didn't convict me, there would be the next Ferguson deal happening in Oklahoma City.
And so far, we have heard from 3 of the alleged victims, but there are still 10 more that we haven't heard from.
As expected, Holtzclaw's defense attorney, Scott Adams, attacks the credibility of the 13 accusers. Some of the women were in jail on other charges during the trial and testified in their orange jumpsuits. Some changed their stories. And then there was the one who came to court to testify high on drugs.
We know that she tested positive for PCP and other drugs.
He knew this. He patrolled those streets day in, day out.
He knew they might not stand up in a court of law.
He knew they would not stand up in a court of law, and that's what he was banking on.
How difficult is it to mount a case where you have witnesses showing up high on PCP, you have witnesses with a history of lying to the police? These are not easy witnesses to put on the stand.
No, it was horrible, and plus it gives the defense just a million things to attack.
But the first woman Detective Kim Davis interviewed, the grandmother, Janie Liggins, was not like the others. No long criminal history, no record of addiction or prostitution.
Let me ask you about Janie Liggins. She immediately reported the event after it occurred. Why would she make that up?
Let's get the factual facts out there. She's not innocent what you people think she is. She had a bust in the 80s, but we're going to present that to the jury.
Yeah, but how does a 30-year-old drug bust, how is that relevant to a rape case?
It's credibility. It's her credibility. This is not a woman that's, you know, a soccer mom or, you know, someone that's credible in society.
Janie Liggins says she wasn't even charged in that arrest in the 80s, and she's never been in trouble since.
The thing is, he's been stopping a lot of prostitutes and drug users, and I guess apparently thought I was one of them. With big mistake. He just stopped the wrong lady that night.
He stopped the wrong lady.
Exactly.
Before the trial is even over, well-known civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is already planning the next case.
I would be representing them in civil litigation for them to get whole justice.
Lawsuits on behalf of the alleged victims.
Even before the trial ended, they all lined up. They all were looking for the money trail on this.
That's right. Yeah.
We're approaching these women saying, you basically giving him a lottery ticket, and all he had to do was just say yes.
What do you mean by they handed him a lottery ticket?
So all he had to do is to go throughout the court case, cooperate, go on stand, and then now they're going to be, billionaires for something, that I didn't do.
He has nothing to hide from
The
people.
defense called only one witness, Holtzclaw's girlfriend.
Why would he do it with these people? If he wanted to go out and sleep around with people, he could go find people on the north side or people where he's from. It just doesn't make sense.
Because it's not about sex. It's about power and control. It's all about, look what I can do to you, and you can't do anything about it.
The trial runs 6 weeks. As the jury goes into deliberations,
The jurors have been told to make arrangements today for possible sequestration.
the Holtzclaw team is feeling confident.
We had good feelings in our hearts that he was going to be acquitted.
Coming up, his friends and family believe him, but what are